In this episode, we're going to look at the best 90s toys ever.
Let's go. We might be biased here, but we think the 90s was the best era to grow up. When the sitcoms, the cartoons, the toys, everything about the 90s just absolutely rocked.
So let's have a look at the first thing we absolutely love from the 90s, and is Tarzos.
They're new, mad, and mean, and there's only one way to get in on the action. Are you game to Tazo?
So let's Tazo! You're free in these packs, folks.
The first thing we thought was pretty sweet to have in the 90s were Tarzos. If you don't know much about Tarzos, you got these usually free when you bought a packet of chips. You'd get maybe one or two in a packet, and then they brought out folders to help you obviously collect the whole set. And there's obviously different sets. The first set started with Looney Tunes. They were pretty sweet because it had almost like scenes from each show that you'd watch, which is pretty sweet. And I think I got up to 60 that you could get for that first set. And then I had Cheetos, so the packets of chips, and their mascot, I guess. They had his own series. And then Looney Tunes had some more sets for the individual characters. And of course, the one we loved the most was The Simpsons.
We loved it when The Simpsons brought out Tarzos, the Magic Motion Tarzos. So every time you flip, you can see a different image based on the episode. That was really cool. And obviously they wanted to continue their brand of line of Tarzos. So Star Wars got involved, Space Jam got involved, and they just pumped out. Even Batman and Robin had their own Tarzo collection set in shape of films. You can have some see-through kind of footage films there, which is pretty cool. And look, you weren't cool unless you had Tarzos in your school. That rhymed. And so the way you would do it if you wanted more Tarzos, because you couldn't eat all the chips in the world, is you would battle your friends for more Tarzos. And the way you would do it is you would put yours in a stack with your mates, whatever you were willing to lose, put them upside down like that, and you'd have the Tarzo Slammer, and you would slam the Tarzos, and whatever, that was alright, I didn't have a Slammer, but whatever went up, faced up, you collected, you won. And so there was always a battle to see who could collect them all. But Tarzos was such a rave, they were just incredible in the 90s. I can't speak.
Rage?
Yeah, they were hyped. They were great.
90s was the best time for card collecting. Even so, it was that popular they were banned in some schools in Australia. I'm not sure about Americans.
Definitely banned in my school.
So let's have a look at obviously some of the cards we've got and why it was so loved in the 90s.
So card collecting started in the 1900s, where you'd buy your cards at the tobacconist, and it got out of control crazy. And in the 90s, obviously, with the Upper Decker basketball cards, Michael Jordan, Shaquille O'Neal, all those guys, that just went crazy. And obviously it spilled over into the movie world, and this is where we are today.
Yeah, so we love our pop culture, so most of our cards, or all of our cards, are really from the movies or from toys that have come out. So let's have a look at some of these quickly.
You gotta remember, in the 90s, there was no internet. So the only way you could collect it was to go to the local news agency and pick up a packet of cards, which we're very lucky to have a box from the 90s. And you get like 8 trading cards in there. And
at times you have some with chewing gum.
Maybe we should open that and get you to eat the chewing gum.
This is actually 32 years old, this chewing gum, from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cards.
And so, you wouldn't know what you got in there. And so how people would collect is they'd flick for it. And so I don't even remember this. You'd flick against the wall, and if the person got closer or whatever, you actually won.
Vaguely
That's how you
that.
used to collect cards back in the 90s, because you couldn't buy them anywhere else. Well, this is our collection. So let's have a quick look at the sets that we have of cards, trading cards.
So the ones we do have full sets of is the Aladdin cartoon series, the original Jurassic Park, and Batman Returns.
Well, on this side we have Hook, the movie, a full original set. We also have the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles cartoon, which was actually the 80s. 89 this came out. So that's pretty awesome.
What we don't have the full set of is the one at the very end. What are they called again?
Oh, these guys. I don't know if you remember them. The Oddballs.
Yeah, we don't have the full set, but we've got
cool.
almost the full set of those ones.
And we have the full set of the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle 1 movie that came out. And this is not a full set, but we actually have the box of the Super Mario trading cards from their terrible movie they brought out. And I'm very tempted to open these because we don't
Does it have chewing gum in it? No,
No,
these
no
ones
chewing
got
gum
chewing
in
gum in
it.
it.
Yeah. And next on our list, Mighty Max.
Mighty Max, Mighty Max.
It's Mighty Max.
Welcome to Skull Dungeon.
Wow!
Mighty Max. You can collect all his adventure sets, each sold separately. Mighty Max figure included from Mattel.
So when Mighty Max came out, you had the massive sets, you had the shrunken sets, but the main sets most everyone got was the horror heads and the doom zones. So most of the time, because most of us were poor in the 90s, you could only afford the smaller ones. And every now and then on Christmas, your mum or dad would buy you the doom zones, which obviously was what was the equivalent to the Polly Pocket sizes.
And we're lucky to have all 8 in the first series in the original wrapping from the 90s. So I've been tempted to open this every time I look at it, but I'm not going to do it. And what I loved about this is the packaging. It gave you all the ones that that you can buy in the series, had little comic strips that can tell you what to do and how to play. But these things were just great, and we're so happy that we have them here today.
Right in the palm of your hand. Game Boy, the state-of-the-art compact video game system for portable handheld video action.
So back in the 90s, handheld devices were a craze, from the Walkman to the Talkboy to the Discman. But of course, the best one yet is the Game Boy, selling, I don't know how many millions of units.
Okay, no, so that was good. But then you started going, we sold like 100 units or something. I don't know. Everyone had one. Stick to the damn script that I sent you a year ago. Well, at launch, the Game Boy came out obviously on its own. You could buy it like that, or you could buy it prepackaged with Super Mario Land and Tetris. And obviously it came out with a whole bunch of accessories. It came out with a printer as well. Lights, magnifying glasses, anything you could actually to play this thing.
The Game Boy itself wasn't perfect. Without a backlit screen, you couldn't really play it in the dark or in the direct sun. So you had to obviously get accessories to obviously help you do that. But it didn't stop people from buying it, because the Game Boy and the Game Boy Color combined sold over 118 million units worldwide, which shows how amazing this console was. And that's why we think, out of all these 90s toys, of course Game Boy for us is the best toy from the 90s.
With the success of the Game Boy, obviously kicking off with the grey original one, they decided to bring out in different coloured Game Boys and made it more fun to play. They brought out the color Game Boy for those who wanted, like, later on, which was really revolutionary.
For those who wanted color.
Yeah, they didn't want black and white anymore. And then they brought out the Game Boy Pocket, because back in the 90s, it was never about the size of the screen, but the smaller the actual product, the better. And what they did improve on is the clarity of the actual screen. It actually is a lot more clear, as you can see.
It's very, very clear sound.
Yeah, and you could actually put it in your pocket and then play.
Sure, put it in your pocket.
Watch this. This is why you got a Game Boy Pocket.
Can't put a Switch in your pocket.
Actually, these are girls' pockets, jeans. You can't
Lol.
put them in. There you go, look, back pocket.
Alright, we
Done.
get it. Good job, mate.
I'm just going to sit on my Game Boy, break it.
Alright, well, there are some of our favourite 90s toys. There are obviously some more that we haven't mentioned when it comes to Transformers, Tamagotchi. I'm sure there's a few others.
Part 2, maybe, episode.
But if you like this episode and you want to see a part 2, let us know in the comments some 90s toys we haven't mentioned, and we might get them for the next episode. So thanks, guys, for watching. We'll see you next time.
Peace.